Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Tuesday, September the 19th, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I am the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses. We do create multiple hypotheses in order to have a plan in place. We do not know what the market's going to do. Therefore, we can only build multiple hypotheses, plans, so that when the market shows us what it is doing, we can execute that plan rather than trying to do it on the fly. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website. There's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. You do everything live here in the go-to sessions, then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So taking a look at yesterday, Hypo 1 and Hypo 2 were pretty much equal weighted. We were looking for an open auction out of range, a rotation up, and then finding responsive sellers and rotating us down into the naked VPOC and the naked close. Hypo 2 was moved down into this area, then rotate up. Hypo 3 was a sideways consolidation day fighting the high. And that's basically, up to here, actually right up to here, it looked like this was slow playing Hypo 1, but they came down and they barely broke into the prior day range by one tick, and then they rotated up. So this is actually, I would consider this to be Hypo 3, which was sideways consolidation fighting the high of the prior day. Did get a little bit of a double distribution with the LVN right at 25.03 and a quarter. We have a similar LVN in the overnight session. We have one at 25.04. So between 25.03 and a quarter and 25.04, that's going to be our over underline for the day. But let's take a look at the news first. We just had building permits came out much better than expected. Current account did not, though. Housing starts came out slightly better than expecting. Manufacturing sales in Canada did not come out. So kind of a mixed bag. We really didn't get much movement. We have the Red Book coming up in just 1 minute at 8:55. And then we have 10:30, we have Trump speaking, and 11:30 we have 4-week bill auction, and 3:35 we've got API, weekly crude oil stock. Not a lot of news. Tomorrow is Fed Day, so expecting some move early today, and then balancing for the majority of the RTH session today. Taking a step back to take a look at the macro to micro, I always start with a candlestick chart with a 9 EMA, 20 SMA. I'm using my paper money because it gives me live data, and I like the drawing tools. This is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is our 11th month that we've been basically one time framing where we've not closed below the low of the prior month. So very, very strong market so far on the monthly. On the weekly, we had that inside week. We rotated down, closed the technical gap, bounced off of the 20, and now we've got continuation. We did put a new all-time high in. We equalized that Globex all-time high at 24.0450 yesterday in the RTH session, and we now have a valid high during the regular trading hours. The weekly is very much trending up. The daily gone parabolic, very strong trend, a very hard move to the upside. We do have a technical gap. Gap close will take us down to test the 2400s again at 2490.50. But the trend is still very much intact. Moving to the intraday, you can see we still have good slope, good separation. We've come back and tested the 9. We are holding the 9 on the 4-hour, and we've got continuation pattern, on the 4-hour to the upside. On the 1-hour, you can see that we're coming back to test the 9. We did close down below the 9 in the Globex, but we popped right back up, and basically getting some sideways consolidation here again on the 1-hour. The 30-minute, basically the same thing. 15-minute, we've broken below the 9. We're testing the 20. We're getting a possible MA squeeze here, and coming to a decision point whether they turn this over and start a downward trend, or we bounce and get continuation pattern. And then the 5-minute, you can say again, consolidation, breaking below the 9 and the 20, possible change of trend on the smaller time frame. We still have a naked cross down here on the 5-minute at 2575. Taking a look at the big picture, well, we have this 4 days of consolidation and then a gap up day. And even though we dipped one tick inside, we did not close the close gap here. We are trading 2 points away from the all-time high. We have a LVN here at 98.75, and then we've got a very tight value area that is 24.96 and a quarter to 24.89.75 with the VPOC at 24.93.75. We've had three gaps, 1 gap, 2 gap. This could be the exhaustion gap. So we don't know how high we can go, but my main hypotheses are going to remain basically the same, where hypo 1 and hypo 2 have equal weight, but I am looking for a move down to test this 96 and 93.75 area as a trip back to the last place they accepted value, to see if we continue or we have to come down and price discover lower into the old balance area to pick up late buyers. You can see that the overnight inventory is very balanced. Again, it created a double distribution with that LVN at 2404. Inventory is about 50% neutral, 50% net short, net long. It's pretty neutral, and we are trading above. We could get a VPOC shift. We'll be watching for that prior to the RTH coming in, but right now it's sitting at 25.03, and the overnight low held the 2500. That's important that we didn't break back into the 2400s overnight. So could get some continuation to the upside and then go sideways today in around this area and create a new distribution zone and a 2-day balance outside of the value that we just broke out of yesterday as a breakout day. The 50% retracement of the significant breakout day is 25.02, basically right at our VPOC and just below our close, and naked close at 25.02.75. So if we start moving our numbers over, our overnight high is 25.05.50, 2 ticks off of the all-time high. Our overnight low, 25.01. Our VPOC, again, is here at 25.03. I'm anticipating it is going to shift, so just change that on your chart when it does shift before we get into the open. We have that over-under area, which I'm going to use at 2350, so it encompasses the 2503 and the 2504. This is basically going to be what I'm going to be trading off of today, as far as short and long. We have the all-time high at 2506. That takes out the overnight high. The value area high, I'm not going to pay so much attention to because of the fact I'm using the LVNs, and I'll be targeting that 24 and a quarter. Actually, I'm going to target 20. I'm going to target the value area high. This is a valid value area, and usually I would play off of that, but this LVN takes precedence in my mind. And then we've got the LVN down here at the low, but it's at 24.99, and 2,500 is going to be a choppy area. So I always talk about, centennial numbers, the important centennial numbers, to try to get below it by a couple points, because you're likely to get chopped up if you try to enter a trade there. So I'm going to use the low of the day with the takeout of the naked close, still the gap close at 97 and a quarter, 96 and a quarter, and then the 95 naked VPOC. All my targets remain the same to the downside. Off of the overnight high of 25.0550, our daily full session 20 period ATR is running at 1513. So our downside daily ATR target gets shifted up to 24.9050. Just happens to be that, oops. Just happens to be that low from Friday. So I'm going to take the 91 and a quarter off. Don't need that because I'm going to be using the ATR down, and then the rest of these still remain the same, except that our key line in the sand is now going to be 98.75. It just happens to be one tick below the area. And you know what? I'm going to take this trade area off, and I'll use the key line because it is a CLVN, and likely to come and test the low of the day from yesterday at 97.75, and close that gap below it, so I can actually move that up. And above us, well, we just don't know. We just do not know. Our upside daily ATR target off of the low overnight of 25.01 is at 25.16 and a quarter. Remember, we still have the primary target of the inverted head and shoulders up there. So, I mean, we're trading, a point and three quarters, off of the all-time high. Hypo 1, Hypo 2 going to have equal weight to each other, but my Hypo 1 is an open auction in range, a push up, move up into the 2509, 2510 area, find responsive buyers, responsive sellers, and rotate us down into the 2503, 2502 area, and chop going sideways with maybe a late day probe down into closing this gap down here, but closing ultimately in around the 2503 area. My Hypo 2 is an open auction in range, a move down, take out the overnight low, come down and test this 98, 99 level, dip down, come down into the 95 to 97 area, and then find responsive buyers, rotate us back up, and chop around between 2503 and 2508 with putting in a new all-time high, but ultimately closing somewhere around 2503. I'm looking for a balancing day to create a two-day balance up here, and either closing in the 2504 area or the 2502 area. Hypo 3 is going to be open auction in range, a move down, find initiatives buyers and rotate us up into the 25, 10, 50, and then chop around in here with maybe a late day probe and closing somewhere up in the teens, the 2500 teens, somewhere up here. That would be hypo 3. And then hypo 4 is an open auction, false breakout or a failure to break out, push down into the 98, 97 area, chop here, and then push down and come down and close down here in the 93.75 area. And you know, all these hypos are all, you know, probable today. We just don't know with the Fed coming into tomorrow. So we just have to be very careful in terms of not getting stuck in the wrong hypo. Market's been acting kind of wacky lately. Taking a look at gold, you can see that you know, we came down into this last area around 13, and then we sort of balanced there. We're creating 2-day balance. You know, right at the CHVN at the 1312 area. If they don't find buyers and rotate up into the 17 and break 17 and come up and test the value area of the microcomposite up at the 23, then I'm looking for a push down into the 1304. And if that doesn't hold, then I think we're going to dip back into the 1200s again. But you know, I'm still looking for this basing pattern to rotate us back up into the microcomposite value area, centered around that 1330 area. Anyway, that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.